Most people never realize this. Questions are the most dangerous force on earth. A blade so sharp it can cut through ego, illusion, and entire belief systems without ever raising your voice. But like every kind of power, there's a price. Use questions to corner people, and you become a manipulator. Use them to awaken people, and you become a philosopher. Socrates understood this better than anyone alive. He wasn't undefeated in debate because he had all the answers, but because he never played the ego game everyone else played. While others swung swords made of opinions, he used needles, tiny, precise questions that made entire arguments collapse under their own weight. He didn't shout. He didn't posture. He didn't try to win. He simply asked, and the truth did the rest. Today, I'm going to hand you 5 questions that form the core of the Socratic method. 5 questions that can dismantle assumptions, expose contradictions, and reshape conversations, decisions, and even relationships. But before I give you those 5, you need to understand why questions are more powerful than arguments. Because if you get this, you won't just win debates. You'll control the direction of conversations, the tone of a room, and even the behavior of people around you. Not with aggression, but with clarity. Not with force, but with insight. Question number 1. How do you know that's true? This question looks harmless, but it's the intellectual equivalent of pulling the linchpin out of a grenade. Everyone believes things. Almost no one knows why. Most beliefs aren't chosen. They're absorbed, repeated, inherited, handed down by a crowd that never questioned them either. Everyone knows that. I heard it somewhere. It's just obvious. These aren't answers, they're confessions. Because most people don't live by original thought. They live by repetition. They don't believe the truth, they believe whatever they've heard the most. Ask, how do you know that's true? And the entire mental script falls apart. Socrates once asked a young man this after the boy claimed, "Reality is the only truth." The boy said, "Because everyone says so." Socrates leaned in and whispered, "Everyone, or just you?" The boy walked away in silence, because for the first time in his life, he heard the emptiness of his own reasoning. Real-life usage. This can't be done. How do you know? Based on whose experience? You're going to fail. What makes you so certain? Then say nothing. Silence does the heavy lifting. Advanced version, what would have to be true for that to be false? That question alone can make the most confident person freeze. Question number 2. What are you assuming? Every argument is an iceberg. The visible part is the claim. The dangerous part, the assumptions, sit underwater. People should go to college because college leads to good jobs. Sounds logical, until you expose the assumptions beneath. Everyone wants the same kind of job. College guarantees success. Success looks the same for everyone. Money defines value. Expose assumptions, and the entire argument starts trembling. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Why? Because most suffering comes from unexamined assumptions. Someone says, "I'm not good enough." Ask, compared to who? Instantly, comparison collapses. The illusion dies. Someone says, "Everyone should go to college." Ask, are you assuming everyone wants the same life? One question. Foundation destroyed. Question number 3. What evidence would change your mind? This question separates thinkers from believers. A thinker says, "If there's better evidence, I'll change." A believer says, "Nothing could ever change my mind." The moment they say that, the discussion is over. They've admitted that logic no longer lives there. Try this in a real conversation. Crypto is a scam. What evidence would make you change your mind? If they answer, "Nothing," you've already won. They're not defending truth, they're defending identity. Epictetus said, "No man can learn what he thinks he already knows." This question exposes that blindness instantly. Question number 4. What would someone who disagrees say? This is where real wisdom begins. Weak people want to win. Smart people want to understand. Wise people want to understand even those who oppose them. If you can't describe the opposing side accurately, you don't understand the issue at all. Someone says, capitalism is the best system. Ask, what would someone who disagrees say? If the answer is childish, they're jealous, or they're lazy, they've just exposed their ignorance. Marcus Aurelius taught his son to understand an opponent's view better than they did themselves. That is true intelligence. Use it everywhere. In politics, if you were born somewhere else, would you still think the same? In relationships, if you were me right now, how would you feel? Perspective melts conflict. Question number 5. What would happen if everyone thought like you? This is the final strike, the reality check, the belief breaker. Someone says, people should just do whatever they want. Ask, if everyone lived that way, who decides what hurt means? Push a belief to its limit. If it collapses, it was never truth, just convenience. Someone says, I only lied a little. Ask, if everyone lied a little, what happens to trust? Self-deception dissolves instantly. Advanced Socratic tactics. 1. Strategic silence. Ask, then shut up. Silence forces people to face their own thoughts. 2. The clarification loop. What do you mean? And what do you mean by that? And that means? Repeat until confusion exposes itself. 3. The example trap. Can you give a real example? Vague claims evaporate instantly. 4. The consistency check. You said A earlier. Now you're saying B. How do they fit together? Contradictions corner people every time. When someone uses this on you, if someone turns the Socratic method on you, stay calm. Say, that's a good question. What's your perspective? You flip the pressure instantly without being defensive. But remember, not every moment needs logic. When someone is hurt, angry, overwhelmed, they don't need analysis. They need understanding. Wisdom is choosing the right tool. Modern life applications. Workplace, instead of commanding, what risks do you see if we did the opposite? Buy-in skyrockets. Sales. If nothing changes, what will your life look like in 6 months? Clarity sells better than persuasion. Parenting. What do you think happens if you do that again? Reflection creates maturity. Love. What do you need most to feel understood right now? One question can save a relationship. Conclusion, the ethics of power. Socrates was killed not for lies, but for asking questions no one wanted to face. That is the cost of truth. Questions are power, but your intention determines who you become. Use them to embarrass, and you become a tyrant. Use them to enlighten, and you become a sage. Protect humility, protect curiosity, protect the willingness to learn. But guard against arrogance, cruelty, endless doubt, and the belief that you alone own the truth. One day you'll face someone loud, stubborn, absolutely convinced they're right. You won't need to outshout them. You won't need to overpower them. You'll simply ask a single soft question and watch their certainty dissolve. Because real power isn't making others listen to you. It's making them hear themselves. Socrates once asked humanity, do you truly understand yourself? Thousands of years later, the world still hasn't answered. If you're still watching, you're part of the rare few who seek truth over noise. If this resonated, subscribe to Ascend X Awaken, and let's build a world where wisdom speaks louder than